Marcus Thorne, CEO of Thorne Industries, lived in a world of polished chrome, bespoke suits, and the hushed reverence of high finance. His mornings began not with the blare of an alarm, but with the gentle hum of his smart home, preparing his artisanal coffee as he surveyed the city from his penthouse apartment. Every aspect of his life was curated, optimized, and, above all, expensive. His true passion, however, lay in the roaring symphony of high-performance engines. His garage, a climate-controlled sanctuary, housed a collection of automotive masterpieces, each a testament to engineering perfection and his own discerning taste. Among them, the jewel in his crown, a cut-fire engine, red Ferrari, 488 Pista, a machine that embodied speed, precision, and unadulterated power. His daily commute was a ritual. From the serene heights of his penthouse, he descended into the city's arteries, a concrete jungle where his luxury vehicles navigated the lesser cars with disdainful ease. He saw the world in terms of efficiency and aesthetics. Anything less than perfect was, in his estimation, a waste of his time and an affront to his sensibilities. He rarely ventured into the grittier, more vibrant districts of the city, preferring the sanitized routes that connected his opulent home to his gleaming corporate tower. One Tuesday morning, however, fate or perhaps a rogue pothole had other plans. Marcus was behind the wheel of his Bentley Continental GTA car. He considered merely a daily driver. A subtle, yet persistent, rattle had begun to emanate from the front axle. It wasn't loud, but it was there, an infuriating imperfection in his otherwise flawless morning. He had a crucial meeting across town, and his usual high-end dealership was too far for a quick fix. Grudgingly, he pulled off his meticulously planned route, navigating the Bentley's sleek frame down a narrow, bustling street he rarely frequented. The street was a kaleidoscope of vibrant life, a stark contrast to Marcus's sterile world. Music spilled from open doorways, the scent of street food mingled with exhaust fumes, and the sidewalks teemed with people. Tucked between a bustling barbershop and a brightly painted mural was Aisha's Auto, a small, unassuming garage. Its facade was weathered, adorned with a hand-painted sign, and the air around it hummed with the honest clang of metal and the rich smell of oil. Outside, a woman, her dark hair pulled back in a practical braid, was bent over the open hood of a battered pickup truck. Her hands, though grimy with grease, moving with an almost surgical precision. This was Aisha. Her skin was the color of rich earth, and her eyes, sharp and intelligent, missed nothing. She had built Aisha's Auto from the ground up, a testament to sheer grit, an innate mechanical genius, and a reputation that spread by word of mouth among those who valued results over flashy showrooms. She could coax life back into engines others had declared dead, diagnose problems with a single listen, and perform miracles with a wrench and a prayer. But her appearance, her humble setup, and her gender were to Marcus Thorne immediate. He pulled the Bentley to a stop, its polished chrome gleaming incongruously against the garage's rough exterior. Aisha straightened up, wiping her hands on a rag, and approached the car. "Morning," she said, her voice surprisingly warm, despite the early hour. "What can I do for you?" Marcus rolled down his window, barely concealing a sneer. "I have a rattle. Front axle. I assume you can. Look at it." His tone dripped with condescension, implying that look at it was the most she could hope to achieve. He glanced around the modest garage, then at her grease-stained overalls. "Do you even have the right tools for a car like this?" Aisha's expression remained neutral, though a flicker of something unreadable passed through her eyes. "I have tools, and I have hands that know how to use them." "Pop the hood." Marcus hesitated. Then, with a sigh of exaggerated impatience, popped the hood. Aisha leaned in, her gaze sweeping over the engine with practiced ease. She listened to the subtle hum, felt the vibrations, and then, to Marcus's astonishment, she simply placed her hand on the front left wheel well. She closed her eyes for a moment, concentrating. "Loose bushing," she announced, straightening up. "Common on these models. The vibration is transmitting through the chassis." Marcus scoffed. "A loose bushing. My mechanics would have done a full diagnostic." "That's a complex issue." "It's not complex if you know what you're looking for," Aisha replied, unfazed. "I can tighten it for you now. Be quick." "And what's your fix going to be?" "A prayer and a wish." Marcus chuckled, a harsh, dismissive sound. "I need a proper repair, not some street-side pet." Aisha picked up a small, worn wrench from a nearby toolbox. "It's a temporary tightening. It'll get you to your meeting without the rattle. Then you can take it to your proper mechanics for a full replacement. Or," she added, a hint of steel in her voice, "you could let me do it right, but that'll take a few hours." Marcus glanced at his watch. He was already running late. The rattle was annoying, but he couldn't afford to miss his meeting. He still doubted her, but the immediate cessation of the noise was tempting. "Fine. Just ... make it stop. And don't scratch anything." Aisha nodded. Then, to Marcus's further bewilderment, she didn't immediately go under the car. Instead, she knelt, reached into the wheel well, and with a surprisingly delicate touch, she adjusted something. He couldn't quite see what, but her fingers moved with an almost surgical precision, twisting, nudging, and then, with a final, firm push, she straightened up. "Try it now," she said. Marcus, skeptical, started the engine. The rattle was gone. Completely. He revved the engine, listened intently. Silence. He drove forward a few feet, then reversed. Still nothing. The annoying vibration had vanished. He stared at Aisha, a flicker of surprise in his eyes, quickly replaced by his usual arrogant, "Well, I suppose it's a temporary fix. How much for your expertise?" He pulled out a crisp $100 bill, holding it out dismissively. Aisha took the bill, her gaze steady. "20. The rest is for the next time your proper mechanics can't figure it out." She offered a small, knowing smile. Marcus laughed, a short, derisive bark. "Unlikely, I used the best. Don't expect to see me again." He sped off, the Bentley's powerful engine, leaving Aisha in her humble garage in a cloud of dust. He was still convinced it was a fluke, a lucky guess. The next day, Marcus Thorne was a man on a mission. The crucial meeting had gone well, but now he had to make it to a high-stakes charity gala, where a major deal was to be finalized over champagne. And for this, only the Ferrari would do. He slid into the low-slung cockpit, the scent of leather and high-octane fuel filling the air. He pressed the ignition button. The engine roared to life, a magnificent symphony of power. He pulled out of his garage, the Ferrari a crimson blur on the city streets. Then, just as he was about to merge onto the highway, it happened. A sudden, violent shudder ripped through the car. The engine sputtered, coughed, and died. The dashboard lit up like a Christmas tree, warning lights flashing in angry red and orange. Marcus tried to restart it. Now there's just a pathetic click and a faint smell of something burning. Panic, a sensation Marcus rarely experienced, began to set in. He was stranded on the side of a busy urban road, in his prized Ferrari, with minutes ticking away before the gala. He called his elite mechanics. "Mr. Thorne, we can send a flatbed, but our lead technician is out, and it sounds like a major electrical issue. Could take days. Days? He couldn't afford hours." He called another. "Ferrari, sir, we're booked solid. And a problem like that, it's rarely simple." He tried everything, every contact, every premium service. No one could get to him, or rather, no one could get to him now. The Ferrari, his symbol of ultimate control, had betrayed him. He slammed his fist on the steering wheel, frustration boiling over. He looked around, desperate. And then, his eyes fell upon a familiar, unassuming street name on a sign, the same street where Yishizato was located. A wave of humiliation washed over him. He, Marcus Thorne, reduced to considering a street mechanic, the woman he had mocked, but desperation was a powerful motivator. He had no choice. He called a regular tow truck, giving the address of Aishizato, swallowing his pride with every word. It was late afternoon when the tow truck deposited the gleaming Ferrari outside Aisha's garage. The contrast was stark. The multi-million-dollar suit, looking utterly out of place, parked next to a rusty old minivan. Aisha was under a car, a pair of legs sticking out from beneath it. She emerged, wiping sweat from her brow, and saw the Ferrari. Her eyebrows rose slightly, a hint of amusement in her eyes as she recognized Marcus Thorne, who stood awkwardly beside his broken dream. Well, Aisha said, her voice calm, devoid of any "I told you so" smugness. "Fancy seeing you again, Mr. Thorne. Having more flukes?" Marcus flushed. "The Ferrari, it just died, completely. My usual mechanics are stumped. I need it fixed. Tonight, there's a gala." The words tasted like ash in his mouth. "I know I was, dismissive. I apologize. I was wrong." Aisha looked at him. Truly looked at him, and saw not just the arrogance, but the genuine desperation. She nodded. "Pop the hood." Marcus quickly obliged. Aisha approached the Ferrari, her movements deliberate. She didn't immediately dive in. Instead, she walked around the car, her eyes scanning every detail, her hands lightly touching the bodywork, as if communing with the machine. She then leaned over the engine, her gaze piercing, her ears attuned to the faint whispers of the car's distress. She sniffed the air, then ran a finger along a small, almost invisible residue near a sensor. She murmured, a frown creasing her brow. "This isn't just an electrical issue, it's a cascade failure. Someone tried to force a diagnostics port, probably misaligned a pin, and it sent a surge through the CAN bus system, frying the primary control unit and causing a fuel pressure anomaly." Marcus stared at her, dumbfounded. A CAN bus system, a fuel pressure anomaly. "My mechanics just said electrical issue." Aisha nodded. "They see the symptom, I see the cause. And the ripple effect. It's like trying to fix a heart attack by treating a headache. Give me an hour. Maybe two." Marcus watched, mesmerized, as Aisha began her work. She didn't use a laptop or a complex diagnostic machine. Her tools were simple: a multimeter, a set of fin-tip screwdrivers, a specialized pair of pliers, and a small, almost surgical-looking probe. She worked with an intensity that bordered on reverence. Her fingers, strong and agile, moved with a dancer's grace, navigating the labyrinthine wires and components of the Ferrari's engine bay. She was talking to the engine, not with words, but with her touch, her senses. She meticulously traced wires, checked connections, and then, with a delicate touch, she used the probe to realign a minuscule, almost invisible pin in a connector that Marcus wouldn't have even noticed. She then used a tiny, custom-made jumper wire, no thicker than a human hair, to bypass a fried circuit, a temporary but brilliant solution that would allow the car to run. She then adjusted a fuel line, a fraction of a millimeter, and tightened a sensor with a precise click. Marcus, who had spent his life surrounded by engineers and technicians, had never witnessed such raw, intuitive, mechanical genius. It wasn't just knowledge, it was an art form. It was as if she could feel the flow of electricity, the pressure of fluids, the subtle imbalances in the engine's heart. After what felt like an eternity, but was barely an hour and a half, Aisha straightened up, wiping her hands on her overalls. "Try it now." Marcus, his heart pounding, slid into the driver's seat. He pressed the ignition. The Ferrari's engine, which had been a silent, lifeless lump just moments before, roared to life with a ferocious, healthy growl. The warning lights vanished. The engine idled smoothly, perfectly. He revved it gently. The sound was pure, unadulterated power. He sat there, stunned. The car, his magnificent Ferrari, was alive, and she had done it. With her hands, her mind, and a few simple tools, she had resurrected a machine that his best mechanics had dismissed as a multi-day problem. He got out of the car, his legs feeling strangely weak. He looked at Aisha, his eyes wide with a newfound respect. Bordering on Aisha, he began, his voice thick with emotion. That was genius. Pure genius. I've never seen anything like it. You truly are a genius. The Ferrari, gleaming under the setting sun, seemed to hum in agreement, its engine purring a testament to Aisha's skill. It was as if the car itself was calling her a genius, celebrating its revival at her hands. Marcus reached into his wallet, pulling out his entire wad of cash, far more than the repair would normally cost. "This isn't enough," he said, pressing it into her hand. "Not nearly enough. I was arrogant. I was prejudiced. I judged you by your garage, by your clothes, by everything but your actual ability. And you just saved me. You saved my car, and you taught me a lesson I desperately needed to learn." Aisha looked at the money, then back at him. "The lesson is worth more than any cash, Mr. Thorne." "Marcus," he corrected, a genuine smile finally breaking through his usual stern facade. "Please, call me Marcus." "Aisha, I want to invest in your business. I want to expand this place, get you the best equipment, a bigger space. Or, better yet, I want you to head a new division at Thorne Industries, our automotive R&D. We could revolutionize the industry with your talent." Aisha's eyes widened, a rare flicker of surprise showing on her face. She looked around her humble garage, then back at the powerful CEO, now standing before her, humbled and sincere. "You're serious?" "Never been more serious," Marcus replied, extending a hand. "You have a gift, Aisha, a true, unparalleled gift, and it deserves to be recognized, celebrated, and given the platform it deserves." From that day forward, Aisha's auto became a legend. Marcus Thorne, a changed man, became her most ardent supporter. He learned that true genius wore many faces, and that the most profound insights often came from the most unexpected places. The Ferrari, now perfectly tuned, became a symbol not of his wealth, but of his humility and the extraordinary talent of the woman who had brought it back to life, a woman he had once laughed at. But now, with every purr of the engine, called a genius,